Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Film Blurs. I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. Uncle Jeffrey, a.k.a. J.O.T's Dynamite, a.k.a. Praetorian Jeff, Revengeman Button, He Who Remains, Petty Ruxpin, Jobu Tupaki, Little Tom, This Motherfucker, To Be Determined, Black Giovanni Ribisi, Chocolate Tarantino, Ebony Spielberg, a.k.a. The Final Boss. And I'm joined here, as always, with my friend and co-host.
It's Brandon Norwood. I'm going to skip my AKAs because we got a lot of shit to get through because a lot of shit has happened. First and foremost, R.I.P. David Lynch. That hurt. It really hurts. Yeah, that's all I got to say, man. I think it's monumental he went out on Twin Peaks Season 3. And at least Twin Peaks Season 3 has an ending. Because if Twin Peaks didn't have an ending, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, David Lynch made being weird cool. And you can see from all of the messages that have been all over social media and the news and whatever like that, he has influenced a lot of filmmakers, not just with his creativity, but like just being a good person and realizing that film is art. So yeah, R.I.P. David Lynch.
Me and David Lynch both have things in common. We like weird shit and we hate Philadelphia. David Lynch lived there for 4 or 6 years and he's just like, it's the most miserable place on earth. And he's like, I live in Los Angeles, so think about that. And I was like, I respect that, David Lynch. I respect that. Fuck Philly. All right. So R.I.P. David Lynch. Let's get into some new news. Sony Picture CEO says Madam Web flopped because the press crucified it. Our Marvel movies are not terrible. They were destroyed by critics. And he's like, these are actually good movies. And that's the reason why... Here's a quote. Let's just touch on Madam Web for a moment. Madam Web underperformed in theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, and it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they didn't want us making these films out of Craven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. They also did it with Venom, but the audience loved Venom and made Venom a massive hit. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by critics and the press for some reason. This is from a Tony, what's his name? Tony, it's wild Italian. Tony Vinciquerra.
All right, so here's the thing. If critics had that much power, right, we would get so much more respect when it comes to everything from screening priority to like just, just more clout in general. If he thought those were good movies, then that's the problem.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right?
And somebody pointed it out because Tom Rothman is the studio head at Sony. And he used to run Fox back in the early 2000s. And he was notorious for hating superhero movies and doing all types of shit. And you saw the superhero movies we got from Fox. Fantastic Four, both of them not good. Daredevil, not that good. Probably the worst one I've ever seen. Like that till to this day, I'm still like, dude, this movie is garbage. Is Elektra.
Still have never seen Elektra. I think I've seen the first 10 minutes of it, and that's about it.
It's wild. I was like, yo, Elektra, one of the best comic book characters, but it's just wild to me that Daredevil doesn't get a sequel, but y'all fucking greenlit an Elektra spinoff.
Right. Like
Tells me where your priorities are.
like these movies, Madam Web, Craven, whatever like that, they underperformed just because they were fucking bad, right?
I mean, you
And
could tell from the previews too. It's like nobody's gonna sit there and watch the previews for this and be like, "Wow, that looks like it's gonna be like Dark Knight level good."
Right. And there's a difference between good and entertaining. And here's the thing,
Madam Web's entertaining.
Madam Web's entertaining.
It's a terrible
Craven,
movie.
well, yeah, like Craven, I don't know, depends on your mood, right?
Craven,
But
Craven was torture. I don't know about Jeff, but Craven was torture. Like Craven with a K.
we listen to our Craven.
I shit
review.
you not. I wish I was making this shit up. Craven with a K.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fine. It's whatever, but don't blame the fact that you made
Shit movies.
Right, like objectively bad movies. Like they fail at being movies.
You guys are taking Spider-Man characters who don't really work without Spider-Man and giving them their own movies. Like, and half of these motherfuckers are bad guys. Like, Morbius is a villain. Craven is a villain, and probably the most infamous Spider-Man villain, because what he does to Spider-Man in the comics, you're just like, Jesus Christ. To the point where it's like one of Spider-Man's best runs. Like Craven's Last Hunt, Craven's Final Hunt, all that shit. Madam Web, she only serves to exist to help out Spider-Man.
Yeah. Venom succeeded just because it was so fucking weird.
And it's
right?
Venom. Like, Venom, look, arguably just as popular as Spider-Man, quite honestly.
Right. Like, so here's the thing. Your final shot of Madam Web, your hero shot, the bitch has her glasses on crooked, right? That's how bad the movie is. You couldn't even get your closing shot right. Right? Like, think about that. Don't fucking come for us. Oh, the critics destroyed us. It's like, no, motherfucker, gravity destroyed you. Fucking just
I'll say this about Morbius and Craven. At least their power set is clearly defined. Like throughout the movie, you get their powers. You understand their powers. You understand their limits. Madam Web, outside of her being clairvoyant and a good driver, I don't really know what else her powers are. And that goes for like the three Spider Women who are going to be assassinated by Ezekiel Sims. I'm like, what are their power set? It's never clearly defined, and nor are they developed by the time the credits roll.
Like half your villain's dialogue is ADR. Like, think about that. That is not good filmmaking.
Look, Sony, like, just keep making movies. Like, get out the comic book movie game. And if you're gonna keep doing this, why don't you put you have 3 Spider-Men. Why don't you put one of these motherfuckers in it? Like, I don't understand why Andrew Garfield ain't fighting these motherfuckers.
I came up with a great idea for, because they keep on doing with the Sinister Six, right? They want to they keep on trying to do the Sinister Six bullshit. All right, here's an idea, Sony. You make the check out to cash. If you want to do your Sinister Six fucking film, right? If you're so insistent on doing that, just make it a heist film.
Yeah. I mean, Suicide Squad's right there. You could just steal their template, bro.
Right? Like, you make the you make the Sinister Six like the Ocean's 11, right? They gotta fucking band together to fucking steal this one thing that they all need, and there's some double crosses. You got fucking 6 movies right there. Boom.
Perfect way to do that too is you can pay lip service to Spider-Man. So if you don't want to commit to Spider-Man, you can just say, yeah, Spider-Man rounded all of them up. They're in this extreme prison, and now we need them. And then you could do some dumb shit where Madam Web and the Spider Women are making sure they stay in line.
Right, they stay on. Like, there you go. Like I said, write the check out to cash, or I'll give you my Venmo. But there you go. I fixed your whole entire fucking superhero problem.
Just don't make them, honestly. Just don't make these. Like, y'all are still gonna move forward with this. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to people and say these movies are good. Like, that's on you for not making good movies and trying to cash out on Spider-Man. Like,
Right,
everybody can smell like y'all are cashing out. Like
everybody knows you're just trying to retain the rights.
yeah. So like,
right, like
because if Morbius had no connection to Marvel or Spider-Man, it would not get greenlit.
Right, because someone read that script, right? Like, and someone said, like, this is what we're gonna go with, right? And someone saw that CGI, is like, this is what we're gonna put out, right? Like, don't blame us for your bad decisions.
It's wild to me that nobody wants to make a Savage Dragon movie. That movie would be hard as shit. I'll make a Savage Dragon movie. But y'all were seriously thinking about doing Jackpot, a Spider-Man villain that is just made into a joke in the video games. Y'all were really going to greenlit Jackpot.
I'm surprised no one started picking over the corpse for Image Comics.
Yo, listen, give me Savage Dragon, bro. I will freak the fuck out of Savage Dragon.
See, there you go. Like this. All right. Well, Sony. Well, thanks for trying to blame us because you have no creative souls.
Quick news: Terrifier. The distributors behind Terrifier, which is Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting, they have picked up the Toxic Avenger. Macon Blair's remake that's been sitting on the shelf for 2 years is now coming to theaters this year, unrated and in wide release because they've had so much success with the Terrifier trilogy. And I'm like, thank God. Apparently, this movie is too gory and too niche for a lot of major studios.
So it's gonna do huge numbers then. And look, I don't fuck with the Terrifier trilogy or
Neither do I.
Quadrilogy, but if the best thing that comes out of it is that we do get to see this Toxic Avenger remake, okay, all right, it was worth it.
Look, I don't fuck with Terrifier, but I respect Terrifier because Damien Leone is making these low budget movies that are making money hand over fist. So I respect that.
I'm not gonna knock the hustle.
It's not for me. And he's supporting some local businesses around where me and Jeff live. So again, I'm not gonna shit on Terrifier. It's just not for me. I don't think they're good movies. I think they're corny, and I think they're really for people who just like cheap thrills.
Yeah.
Look, more power to you. There's worse things in the world than the Terrifier trilogy. With that said, at least this brought something good.
Yeah, like I am a horror fan, and I don't fuck with Terrifier, but look, I can't knock that dude's hustle. Like, he made it happen. Like honestly, he is living the filmmaker dream, right? Like, he did it on his own terms and got successful off of it. Like, he's the embodiment. Like, he's what David Lynch. Like, that he's the dream of David Lynch, right?
Who's that?
Damon, whatever.
How so?
He's able to make his art and be successful.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to argue that his art is good, but like, he has his vision, right? And he made his fucking movie. So like, that's all David Lynch wanted for fellow filmmakers. It was like, make your art.
All right, look. Macon Blair, I like him as an actor. He's been in Jeremy Saulnier stuff and surprisingly popped up in Oppenheimer and was good in Oppenheimer considering he's just been a genre actor. So I'm interested to see what he does behind the camera, especially with Toxic Avenger. You know, it's something I used to, not the movies, but like the cartoon and the comics I used to watch as a kid. I couldn't watch the movies as a kid for obvious reasons, but
right, I fucked with the movies, you know, like,
yeah, the movies are great, man. I'm just saying I couldn't watch them growing up.
Yeah, no, I get it. But like Toxic Avenger was my first foray into the trauma
Trauma.
verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, Lloyd Kaufman likes it.
Yeah. I mean,
So
but
if Lloyd likes it, like,
I mean, yeah, all respect to Lloyd, but if you write Lloyd a check, he'll like anything. But, and he sees a piece of that action.
so with that said, I got some news about one of my favorite filmmakers. Very quickly, Focus is just like, yeah, we're putting out the new David Eggers film. It's called Werewolf, and it's spelled WERWU with a 2 dots over the U, LF.
With the umlaut. So technically the Germans are Werwolf.
Taking place in 19th century England, and he's going back to his roots of the witch and the Northmen, in that they will be speaking in Old English.
Fuck it. Let's go
I was
do
just
it.
like,
Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Focus made so much money off of Nosferatu because that movie overperformed. And now they're just like, you know what? You made us money. We got our money back on the Northmen with some profit. We already in the black on Nosferatu. Go ahead and make your movie. We want it as quickly as possible. They dated it Christmas Day 2026. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that is quick.
So like is Robert Eggers just gonna own Christmas Day from now on?
Look. It worked. Let's see if it works again.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I always am excited for a new Robert Eggers movie because he's my favorite director. He hasn't made a movie I haven't not liked so far. I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't The Night, because he's been working on The Night for just as long as Nosferatu, which is a medieval epic. And also I want to see his Rasputin movie.
Yeah, that's the movie I want to see. Like, because we haven't gotten a quality Rasputin film. Like, I think the closest thing was, I think there was an HBO miniseries.
I mean, the closest thing we've gotten is the forgettable Fox animated movie voiced by Matt Damon and Meg Ryan, Anastasia. Because if all y'all know, Rasputin is rumored to be a dark sorcerer, and he is also rumored to be responsible for killing the Romanov family. I mean, he is responsible for that family's downfall.
Yeah, but like, they tried to kill this nigga like 15 times.
And he just wouldn't die.
Right.
Yeah, black magic. That's why Count Orlok is a vampire. Black magic. When you play with shit you don't know, it comes out bad. Who knows? Maybe fucking Rasputin was turned into a vampire. Maybe that's why they couldn't kill that motherfucker.
I don't know. I don't fuck with the devil. I wouldn't know about that shit. I don't fuck with the devil.
All right. So the other piece of Robert Eggers news is that they've made it official that he is doing not a reboot, not a remake, but a sequel to Labyrinth. And I'm excited because I love Labyrinth. I have that on 4K.
I'm not the biggest fan of Labyrinth. Like, during those, the whole entire
Jim Henson's
like
Dark Crystal rules too.
Right, like sleepover movies. I was never like the biggest Labyrinth fan. I was always like a fucking Dark Crystal motherfucker or Short Circuit nigga.
Those bird, the evil villains in Dark Crystal, those birds. I kept wondering why they kept giving that affectation where they'd always go, like after they talk, they'd always do that. I'm like, that's weird that y'all put that shit in there.
But yeah, like I would be excited to see what he does with a sequel to Labyrinth, right? Because I mean,
just sucks that Bowie's not going to be the Goblin King, man.
That's look, at this day and age, they'll fucking AI that.
Oh
that
yeah, we're gonna get into some AI shit once we talk about Oscars, because white people's favorite movie got exposed. Dun 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 dun.
Is it white people's favorite movie?
yeah, it's two movies white people love that we'll get into during the nominations. But yeah, back to look, I get why you don't fuck with Labyrinth. I truly do. Like, it's the same.
It's fine. It's fine. It's good. But
it's like when people tell me they don't fuck with the Dark Crystal. I get it.
Yeah.
I just hope it don't turn out like the Dark Crystal sequel series that aired on Netflix. That shit was a waste of everybody's time.
That no one watched. I don't know anybody. Like you are the only person I know
who and finished it.
Right.
And I got to the end of it and I was just like, that was a waste. That was a fucking waste on every level.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where we have the IP, we have the rights, we got to do something with it before we lose it.
Yeah, that's that Netflix MO.
Yeah, so
Netflix burning billions.
It's just like fucking setting money on fire, but apparently they're building a mega studio in North Jersey. So let's.
Yeah, I could get some AD work, baby.
Yeah. Let's see what the money looks like.
I need some AD work. Speaking of Netflix, I want to shout out to Greta Gerwig. She used her power and the internet to bully Ted Sarandos and the other dude who runs Netflix, Reed Hastings. Bully both of them into putting Narnia into 1,000 IMAX screens worldwide. And because of this, now Greta got an increased budget and she's shooting in IMAX. So it's going to be playing in IMAX for 2 weeks. And they said if it's successful enough, it'll be 3 weeks. So after that third week is done, 30 days later, it'll hit Netflix on Christmas Day.
Good.
And that's how it should be.
Good for her.
Because apparently reading this deal, everybody at Netflix wanted this to happen except for Reed Hastings and Todd Sarandos. Everybody wants it so bad that apparently now they're looking at other movies Netflix has coming and they're like, yeah, why don't we give this an IMAX release too? And I'm like, yo, Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig are driving up to that Netflix lot right now with their security, all gangster style with fucking shit tucked into their waistband. They sit down and pulled up their shirts the whole time and be like, yo, so Knives Out 3, right? And they just point at their waistband like this. Knives Out 3, right?
Here's the thing. You spend $300 million on a fucking film, right? Don't let it just sit on your fucking streaming service with the new fucked up pricing.
Yeah, because we should talk about that now real quick.
Yeah.
Prices are going up by like $3-4 this year across every tier.
So I found out that Netflix was overcharging me. Right? Like they put on an extra $10 charge for another line or whatever like that.
Oh, because somebody's using your shit.
Right, but I proved to them no one's using my shit. So I had to fight them to get that money back. But they gave me $10 extra a month that I didn't realize was coming out until I checked the fucking invoices and shit like that. So I ended up getting $150 back. So they would charge me for that long with that much. And I dropped my pricing tier, right? I was on the 4K Ultra package. I was like, nah, I'll just drop down to 1080p. And honestly, I don't notice a difference.
I mean, I talk about it all the time. I'm happy with my 4K setup. So right. I can tell the difference when I'm take for instance, I'm going to talk about it in What Have You Watched Lately? But I watched Lost Highway because Lynch passed. There's certain scenes where I'm like, bro, the blacks, this is why I hate streaming, because it gets pixelated. And you could tell, when it's black, the blacks are being compressed and crushed so hard versus watching it.
Clipping. Yeah.
Right. Versus, even a 4K stream, I'm like, bro, even a 4K stream's better than this. But nothing. What I'm trying to say is nothing is ever going to beat physical media because it's just not there. Whether it's a 1080p Blu-ray, whether it's a fucking DVD, whether you got a 4K, it's just, I'm sorry. Like, I love Criterion Channel, but I was like, damn, bro, like, and this is why I'm like, yo, y'all, everybody invested in streaming, but like, there's a lot of people like me who don't have Netflix, because also in that same article, it said streaming subscriptions have risen around the world for Netflix. However, here on the home front in America, their subscriptions have actually dipped. And hearing your experiences with Netflix, I was just like, yeah, this is why I don't fuck with them, and this is why I don't pay for them.
Yeah, it's getting real. It's getting really fucking silly.
Yeah.
With this streaming shit, like I might as well just go back to fucking cable.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, next month the final part of Cobra Kai is airing, and then they announced in April they're dropping all of season 5 of You at once. So they're not going to split it like they did season 4. And I was like, perfect. So that means in April, I'm going to finish Cobra Kai, I'm going to finish You, and then the rumored release date for Stranger Things is November. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to pay, that's $40 this year. That's going to go to Netflix. And that's that. I'm not paying for Netflix other than those 2 months that I'm going to activate.
Like, honestly, of all the streaming services, Netflix has gone from, like, in my watch hierarchy, it's gone to the bottom of the list. Like, I'm always like, what's on everything else before I go to Netflix?
And that's the thing, is like, everybody is asking me, because Jeff, this is what I love, is like, you cover all the Netflix shit. So like, people are like, yo, bro, you haven't seen Carry On? You haven't seen yada yada yada, you haven't seen Squid Game? And it's like, you haven't seen the new season of Black Mirror? And I'm just like, first off, Carry On, cool. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Rebel Ridge, would like to see it. I'll get to it eventually. Don't really care. Black Mirror, love Black Mirror, but also like, if I never watch Black Mirror again, that's fine, because look, we're all living through Black Mirror. Like, look, there's only so many fucking downbeat parables on technology I want to see anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's already, all your social media is owned by deep state.
Yeah,
Open your eyes. TikTok is now host on the Meta servers, right? So like all
seeing, like, come on, man, like seeing pictures of every single major billionaire smiling and clapping at the inauguration. I was just like, yeah, man, this is fuck this shit.
It was a Nazi salute. I just want to tell you.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like let's. It's not a political show, but like it was a Nazi salute.
Here's I'm going to say this briefly, and I'm going to move on. He wouldn't have hit his chest first, because that's how you do that. You hit your chest first. Like, if he just put his arm straight out, I've been like, all right, maybe that's a mistake. That motherfucker literally hit his chest and then did the salute, and then turned around to the American flag, did the same thing. So once, maybe. If he didn't hit his chest and he did it once, maybe. But the fact he hit his chest and did it twice, the full-on salute.
Yeah, so let's and anyone who's trying to defend it, fuck you.
Yeah, man. There has been millions of jobs lost already.
Yeah.
Because now it's been passed into law that any diversity hires, you got to cut that shit. And also, it seems like now people who are, like, let's say, mostly Trump hates Hispanics. But now I'm hearing there's now even non-Hispanics being deported. So black people, Asian people. And I'm like, bro, some of these people were born here and they have no right. And I'm like, all right, there's going to be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit for the next 4 years because of this shit.
Yeah, it's we're living in a nightmare, but let's go on. Let's talk about movies. But
yo,
fuck that guy.
Listen. a lot of these old white people are already complaining that their kids aren't having kids. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you guys are doing this shit.
Right.
And if you're ending birthright citizenship, what's from stopping from deporting some fucking white kid to Scandinavia just because they don't like them?
Well, they're not gonna touch white kids. But right, if you deport all of the Latinx people, prepare for your Italian food.
Oh yeah,
to suck
your lawns, all the jobs that you don't want to do.
Right.
Like farming.
Yeah, like farming, fucking anything.
The food industry.
Food industry. Yeah. Like, who do you think is doing these jobs?
Yeah. So niggas is like, well, at least the price of eggs will come down. I'm like,
has it? Because
bro just said the price of eggs are gonna go up, and bird flu's running wild. And he straight up said, oh yeah, you guys aren't allowed to report on bird flu. And I was like, okay, cool. So like when we start dying of bird flu.
Well, because I guess he just put that in order because what was it? 2 days ago, they found a goose in Philly that tested positive for it.
Oh, great!
So it's already here.
Great.
Right, but
listen.
Yeah.
There's two. Look, y'all asked for it, and this is for the people who sat out the election and people who actually voted for that motherfucker. Y'all asked for it.
Right, like
the people who didn't vote, you're just as guilty now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like especially in like Jersey was always going to go, right? Jersey was always going to be Democrat. So like, I had a friend explain to me like she couldn't vote for the Democrat here. She had to vote with her conscience, but she explained to me like no matter what her vote was, Jersey was going to go Democrat. So she voted for her conscience. Okay, I get that. You explained it, right? But motherfuckers who were in like swing states or battleground states, fuck you.
Was it Sam who told you that?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, look. Fuck your conscience. Especially if you're a woman. If you're a woman, like, yo, look. When you want to go to trial and put your rapist in jail and he gets off, look.
I mean, like,
I ain't trying to shame or blame people, but like, yo, look, there's reasons why there's protections in place.
I mean, they already repealed Roe versus Wade. Let's move on.
But anyways, I guess that's a trade-off for Netflix's prices going up, is that now they're going to get in the movie theaters, which is good for motherfuckers like me, because that means I could use an A-list reservation and go see the shit and still be in the loop. So like when Jeff reviews like Rebel Ridge or Carry On, I can do it with you instead of you just doing it solo, which I don't really care either way. It's just nice to see some more movies that I normally wouldn't have. Also, no offense, 9 out of 10 times, the shit that comes out on Netflix is garbage.
Right. Like everything besides maybe Stranger Things and a handful of other things, everything that you love on Netflix is just bought from other producers, right?
Hey, like Amelia Perez.
Yeah.
That was like, I remember people saw that at Cannes and it was like, yo, we hope this gets a nice theatrical release, and then immediately Netflix bought it and everybody's like, I mean, come on, man, what the fuck? And that was when people really started digging into Netflix, like, oh, I think they're just buying movies so they can kill movie theaters. Well,
yeah.
Backfired.
Yeah, like Squid Games. That's not.
Oh yeah, that's
Netflix,
Korean.
Like Netflix didn't put money into the production.
Oh no,
of that.
No,
right? So
yeah. So look, Todd Sarandos and Reed Hastings thought they were disruptors, like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. They thought they were tech disruptors. I'm like, nah, nigga, you are a delivery service.
Right. I mean, look, I in the beginning, maybe, Yeah,
like, y'all killed Blockbuster, which honestly good, because Blockbuster, I hate the navel gazing for Blockbuster. I'm like, nah, Blockbuster fucking suck, bro. It was like $20 a month for membership on top of the $5 or $6 rental, and then if you didn't have it back, within those 2 days, it was like a $10 late fee every day it was late.
So shout out to your local video store, because I never fucked with Blockbuster. My local video store was A to Z Video Superstore in North Hanover, New Jersey. And I would spend my entire weekend there, right? Like, I would show up first thing Saturday morning to make sure I got the new releases and shit like that. Like, and like, the people knew me and they were real cool about me. Like, all right, you're a day or two late. Like, whatever. I'm gonna see you this week anyway.
So yeah, look, nothing makes me happier than knowing that now Netflix movies are coming into theaters.
Yeah, I mean, because like, there's look, what's the one with Chris Hemsworth, the Extraction?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, both Extraction 1 and 2, they should have been fucking in theaters.
Okay, I'll give. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Every once in a while, you'll get a banger like that from Netflix. Like, I still need to see Timo's new. You know what? I'll watch it in April because
Right.
Nobody 2 is dropping in August, and I do want to see it before Nobody 2.
Right.
But I'm just gonna make sure to have a puke bucket next to me. Honestly, might bring a puke bucket to Nobody 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Nobody 2. I'm looking forward. Love Hurts looks good too. You know, that dumb action. Shit.
Yeah, look, the only action movie coming out that I'm going to pass on, and you'll probably do a solo review on it, is Novocaine, just because I was grossed out from the trailer. I was like, that's disgusting.
I mean, it looks like Crank 2025.
No offense. It also looks like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but it looks like Amber Midthunder's in on it too.
I mean, sure. Like, it looks absolutely fine. They put all the best action beats in the trailer, and you can tell.
Yeah, it's gross though.
Like, the only thing that grossed me out was the hot oil.
That was gross. The fucking hand was gross. Him making brass knuckles out of broken glass. I was just like, this is disgusting, man. It's not even inventive. It's just gore and violence for the sake of gore and violence.
I know, that's what sells, man. I mean, I look.
And don't get me wrong, I like me a violent ass movie, but Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like, I ended up having to see the trailer twice yesterday, so.
Yeah, same. Anyways, now let's get into Oscar news. I can't speak for Jeff, but you know, me personally, I wanted to do a big Oscars event this year, and looking at these list of nominees, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. It just proves that like the Oscars are only for white critics, not even like people who are film fans. It's literally just for white critics.
Like, how do we get on the voting committee? Like, what do we got to do to get there? Look, the only surprises are
Nickel
the people
Boys
are the
for
people
Best
who got
Picture.
the people who got left off are the surprises.
Yeah, man. Like,
Right.
what the whose dick does Denny have to suck to get nominated?
Right. Like, look, I liked Dune 2 a lot. Like, I didn't love it like you did, but it needed more respect than what it got.
Yeah,
Like,
5. The first one got more nominations than this one. This only got 5 nominations.
Right. And like not even best director. Like, did you see it?
Not
like,
even fucking costume design, dude. So
like, did you see that movie? Like, you gotta give him at least. If he doesn't win, that's fine, but you gotta at least nominate that motherfucker, because that's best director caliber.
Well, let's go through not all of the nominations, but some of them. They did announce that best original song will not be given out during the ceremony, and no songs will be performed. And we'll get to that, because I'm also like, you guys are just fucking up. Anyway, let's start. Best supporting actor. Yura Bursalov for Nora. Pretty great performance. Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. Pretty great performance. Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. one of the two most impressive performances in that movie. So well deserved. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, definitely deserved, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
Yeah.
I was like, that's solid. I was like, and that was the first thing announced. I was like, oh, we're starting off strong. Then this is where I was like, oh, this is going to be some bullshit. Because the very next thing they did is best costume design. Nosferatu, Wicked, Gladiator 2, Conclave. Across the board, I'm like, solid picks.
Solid. Yeah.
The last pick, number 5, for costume design, out of all the fucking shit that came out this year, a complete unknown.
Which I don't fucking get. Like, so you went to a consignment shop.
A thrift shop.
Right? You went to a consignment thrift shop, right? You went to Plato's Closet, and you were like, make me look like the 1950s or whatever time period it takes place in. Anything, I have no desire to watch A Complete Unknown. I will watch it before the Oscars just to say I can now make my predictions accurately, but no one I've talked to fucks with that movie, right?
We'll get to it later, because I got a lot to say on it.
Because it's a fucking musical biopic. It's fucking weak sauce, right? How is it getting nominated? How is that getting nominated?
I'll talk about it more at the end, because I got my thoughts. This is another one where I was just like, yo, what the fuck is happening? That's where once we got to best original score, this is where I made the decision where I'm like, yo, Jeff, if he wants to do a special solo Oscar special, cool, because I'm out. After I saw best original score, I'm like, yo, no, fuck this shit. Best original score, The Brutalist, deserved. Conclave, great fucking score.
Right.
The Wild Robot. Remember right as the movie ended, I turned to you. I was like, yo, this score is going to be stuck in my fucking head.
Right.
So, deserved. These last two, though, for best original score out of all the fucking scores that came out this year, these are the two where I'm just like, what in the fuck are we doing? Wicked. I don't remember a single note from that fucking score. It's the songs.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? Wicked. And then the last one, Amelia Perez. What the fuck?
Yeah, I still haven't seen Amelia Perez.
I like both Wicked and Amelia Perez more than I like Amelia Perez a lot more than a lot of people. But really.
But yeah, like and people have to realize there's a difference between the score and like the music, the songs.
Yeah, yes,
right?
Yes.
The score is everything that's not a song, right? Where people aren't actually singing or whatever like that, right? It's like it's the fucking the flourishes and stuff in between. The score for Wicked,
I can't remember a single fucking note.
They're just reprises of the songs, right? Like, so
yeah, but Hans gets disqualified for using like 5 minutes of the first score here and there throughout Dune 2.
Right. So like, but like you have to. It seems like you have to give Wicked and Amelia Perez because technically they're both fucking musicals. All right,
no,
fine.
you don't. You know, we're missing a lot of fucking great scores. The one,
no, but I'm saying like it's everything that got left off. That's like really word.
The one thing everybody said once Best Original Score came was, how the fuck did Challengers not get in? The best score of the year.
Like,
that is the best score of the fucking year.
If Trent Reznor does anything, it should automatically be nominated, right?
And I was just like, all right, fine. Maybe it's a little too house and techno for the Academy. Fine. But you also got queer. Like, the queer score was, like, pretty fucking great.
Right. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it's everything that got left off. It was like, word.
All right, so let's move into best makeup and hairstyling. I'm not too mad at, even though Doom probably should have made it into that too. But let's do best adapted screenplay. Sing Sing. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That means if Sing Sing wins best original screenplay or best adapted screenplay,
Mhm.
that means Prisoners can go up on stage and hold Oscars because they wrote that play.
Yeah, that would be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nickel Boys, because that is a hard. Colson Whitehead is not easy to adapt. The fact that we've now gotten two very great adaptations. Because I don't know. Do you know what the other one is?
I don't know what the first one is.
Barry Jenkins, The Underground Railroad.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, just like you won't watch like They, because you're done with like the black pain.
Right.
That's sort of how I was with the Underground Railroad. It was like, I need to take a break from black pain.
Look, I get it. And Nickel Boys is not easy too. Colson Whitehead, one of our great novelists. I've seen a picture of him. He looks like the professor who would teach black history and have black power all over his his office. But also found out he's married to a white woman.
Yeah. Happens.
Best adapted screenplay, Conclave. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because it's a great fucking script.
Yeah.
Again, here are the two where I'm just like, at this point, we might as well just be wiping our ass. Again, I like this movie more than most people. Amelia Perez, though, getting best adapted screenplay. Word.
I mean, like,
word.
Adapted from what? Like, was it a novel?
It's based off an opera that never came together.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
And you could guess what the last adapted nomination is.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. A complete unknown. How is it that a movie that nobody fucking liked?
Yo, honestly, the worst thing about this movie is the fucking script. So the fact that this got a best adapted screenplay, I'm like, oh, yo, listen, fuck this shit. Real quickly, supporting actress in a supporting role. Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez, and Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. And honestly, give it to Isabella just because she's literally a living legend. She is 76, y'all. She's the daughter of Ingmar Bergman. She's done great work, just like her mom, throughout her career. Just give it to her. Plus, she was great in the role.
Yeah, no, she was great. Like I said, I still have to see Amelia Perez to make Felicity Jones.
That's the weakest performance in that.
Yeah,
that's the one role. That's the one performance in that movie. Everybody's just like,
it's like, I was like, I'm thinking, it's like, who did fucking Felicity Jones play? I was like, oh yeah,
it's because of the big scene at the end. That's why she's nominated. It's the big scene.
Yeah. Like,
which I'm just like, Jesus Christ, y'all. People who love the movies just like, yeah, I think maybe that should have been played by a different actress. You know who was originally supposed to play that part?
Oh,
Marion Cotillard. And can you imagine how much better that would have been?
Yeah.
No offense to Felicity Jones, like she ain't a bad actress, but like,
yeah, it's but good for her.
Okay, so best original screenplay: Honora, A Real Pain, The Substance, September 5, and The Brutalist. I can't speak on The Substance. I am glad to see it there, just because.
Yeah.
I'm glad at least a female director is getting something, because goddamn, this has just been a white dude fest. And look, I don't think The Brutalist should be up there for original screenplay because that second half, like the more people I talk to about it, the more people are just like, yeah, I don't like the second half either. Like, I'm glad everybody now that normal people are seeing it,
Right.
they're just like, this is why I don't like fucking critics and festival hype because y'all motherfuckers overhype it and then it never lives up to the hype. And I'm like, yo, look, I'm in the same boat as you, bro. Like, I think the first 90 minutes is a masterpiece, and then the second 90 minutes is fucking trash. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, I don't like. I agree that the second half is far weaker than the first half. Yeah, sure. The fucking original screenplay, fine, cool. Like, I'm not mad at this list. I'll straight off the bat. I really hope September 5 wins, even though I know it's between Honora and A Real Pain.
I'll be real. Those are the two I'm rooting for because those movies are so good and those scripts are walks a delicate line between drama and tragedy and well, excuse me, comedy and tragedy.
Right.
And it's a delicate line both of them walk and they pull it off. Like the fact that like you're laughing 1 second and crying the next, it's just like those are great movies, man.
Yeah, those are like we should do an Oscars prediction show once I've filled in all the gaps. But yeah.
Best documentary film. I've only seen three of these. So I've seen Black Box Diaries, I've seen No Other Land, I've seen Sugarcane. Remember, Sugarcane made my best of. Streaming on Disney Plus. That shit should not be streaming on Disney Plus. Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. That sounds hard as fuck. I'm gonna watch it.
Right.
And Porcelain War, I don't know anything about. So like, I'm gonna catch up on documentaries. I'll get back to you. That's a promise. Let's skip over shorts. International feature. I'm Still Here. That's the only one I haven't seen because The Girl with the Needle, that movie's crazy. Amelia Perez, y'all know how I feel about it. Seed of the Sacred Fig. If it was up to me, that I would give that to that shit right now. I'd be walking on stage right now being like, here's your Oscar. Thank you for everything you've done to give us this movie. Like the fact this nigga, like, it took 100 people to smuggle this shit out of Iran and smuggle the cast and crew out of Iran. And not everybody made it. Like, some people are on death row for this fucking movie in Iran. So, and then Flow.
Right. You know, like, I love Flow. Flow is one of the best movies of, last year. Technically, yes, international feature film, but it's languageless.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So like,
yeah, and it's animated. So
right, like, okay, like it's definitely it's my top pick for best animated feature, right?
Which we'll get to next.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad it's getting the love that it deserves. I don't know best international feature.
That's the same with Amelia Perez. Like, I get it. The entire movie's in Spanish, but like, the only time where a movie overlapped between categories and I was happy with it was Parasite, where Parasite won Best International Feature and Best Picture because it was well deserved on all fronts. But this here, I'm just like, there's a lot of overlap where I'm just like, I like these movies. I don't know if it's deserved. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, Amelia Perez is going to sweep, just because of white guilt.
Well, it's also 13. It's the most nominated film, 13.
Yeah, like Amelia Perez is going to sweep.
I feel so bad for Seed of the Sacred Fig, bro. Like that's.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see I'm Still Here in a theater on Monday, and I'm going to rewatch Girl with a Needle. So, again, I'll give y'all an update on those. Let's move on to Best Animated Feature. Flow, which we talked about. Inside Out, which I talked about. Wild Robot, we talked about ad nauseum. Memoir of a Snail, I still need to get around to seeing. I have it. I have a screener.
I have it. Like, I have, like, it's on. Like
It's on your server.
It's on my server. I was like, I've been looking at this for like 2 months.
Yeah,
and everybody's been like, have you seen have you seen Memoir of a Snail? It's like, nah. I was like, you gotta watch that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it.
Listen, that's on the docket for this weekend. Because tonight I'm watching the Star Trek movie before Paramount Plus expires. That Michelle Yeoh movie. So I'm gonna watch that tonight. Memoir of a Snail.
What Michelle movie? What Michelle Yeoh movie?
Her character was originally supposed to get a spinoff. They canceled it.
Right.
And then 2 years later, they're like, so we're gonna give you a movie.
First, a Star Trek movie?
Yes.
Star Michelle Yeoh?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it tonight, man. I'm watching it tonight. Tonight, I'm gonna watch Law and Order and then unwind with this Star Trek movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Memoir of a Snail I'm gonna get around to. I'm gonna tell you something fucked up about Wallace and Gromit.
What about it?
Only got one screening through the Guild, right?
Yeah.
It was Thursday at 5:00, and I was like, I can't make it. I've been watching every single Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep movie.
Right.
And even Chicken Run. I've watched all these movies with my brother. That's one of the things me and my brother share is like our love for Aardman. We've gotten screeners for every single movie under the sun, except for this. Like Netflix is some cheap bastards. I'm like, yo, come on, y'all. Like I'm a Wallace and Gromit super fan, and you don't know how mad it makes me that like I can only watch this on Netflix. It's nominated for Best Animated Feature, and I'm not going to be able to see it until like May.
Well, I mean, I'll throw it up there for you if you want to watch it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'll
You want to do a review on it?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Do you let me? Well, before
I fuck with Wallace and Gromit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I fuck with Wallace and Gromit. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
How'd you know I was going to ask you that question in that same exact language?
Look, I fuck with Wallace and Gromit, like from the beginning. It's just like I haven't gotten around to this.
This is going to be controversial to say before we move on, but I'm going to say it. I think Shaun the Sheep has outpaced Wallace and Gromit.
Okay, that's fine. Because
the last great Wallace and Gromit thing was the Were-Rabbit movie that came out in theaters.
Oh yeah, and that was what 5-6 years ago.
Dude, that's over a decade ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
I was in high school. Like me and my brother went to go see that. We were in high school.
And honestly, like the Chicken Run movie shouldn't have been as good as it was.
Chicken Run rules. I heard the sequel sucked.
Oh, the sequel usually sucks. I found out that I finally saw media for Paddington 3, and it's like, well, it's not going to be Paddington 2.
Critics started seeing that movie back in excuse me, I'm sorry, brain fart. Back in November.
Right.
The past couple of Paddingtons, I've gotten invites to see them at press screenings through the Guild.
Right.
This one sucks. We haven't received not a single screening, or we weren't given a screener. Movie comes out next month, and we still haven't. Even Sony hasn't invited us to a screening yet. So like,
it's and honestly, due to the success of the first two Paddingtons, right? You would think they would be doing the full court press with the media, right? With like not just reviews and shit like that, but like I haven't seen any commercials, like barely saw a trailer, right?
Didn't I tell you?
No one's talking to us.
Let me tell you. Let me say this, and I want you to answer this question. Didn't I tell you that once I said Paul King's doing Wonka and he's not coming back for Paddington 3? Didn't I tell you that Paddington 3 was going to be shit? Didn't I say that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
like Paul King is like literally the only reason why those movies work.
Paul King's the only reason like
Wonka
worked, right? Like it shouldn't have.
That dude is the king of whimsy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Best production design. Nosferatu.
Of course, yeah.
Dune Part 2.
Finally.
That should win.
Right.
Because Doom Part 2 is one of the best production designed movies I've ever seen. Conclave definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
The Brutalist, yes,
Right.
deserved it. And then Wicked.
Yeah.
I would look, I would probably be a little more high on Wicked if it was just photographed better. Like those sets are good and the costumes are good. It's just no offense to Alice Brooks, but I don't know why you backlick the entire fucking movie. Like it's ugly as sin.
I wouldn't say that, but I will say the lighting lacked nuance. Yeah.
They lit it like a TV movie.
Yeah, and I get that. Like I get you saying that. Yeah, I get it. It it didn't bother me so much because they did so much to try to be in line with the original, Wizard of Oz.
That was also shot on film.
Right, but like there's
Technicolor.
They tried to get that same sort of feel, and if you look at like the original Wizard of Oz, I mean, yeah, it does look TV-ish, right? I would have liked a little bit more nuance.
All right, well, let's get to editing, and I don't know how Dune's not in this, but Amelia Perez, which again, love the movie. I don't get it. Wicked, which for editing, again, I don't get it. The Brutalist, deserved. Conclave, deserved. And Sean Baker himself, because he edited Honora himself. Right. Just the fact that he edited himself, I'm like, bro, give it Honora. Out of everything here, Honora. For me, it'll be Honora, then Conclave, then the Brutalist. Like those are that's it.
Yeah, like I still have to see Honora.
How the fuck did Dune not get best editing, bro? Like Joe Walker freaked the fuck out of some of that shit, editing wise.
Are they only doing 5 for some of these categories?
Yes,
I thought across the board they would increase it.
No, it's 10 just for best picture.
Okay.
So let's get to sound. Wicked. I'm like, okay. The Wild Robot, not mad at. Amelia Perez. Jeff. Again, I love the movie. I don't get it. For best sound, I don't get it.
So we'll put this out there. Amelia Perez may be a great film, but if you look at the technical aspects of the movie, there's nothing in it
scratching my head
that is like superior, right? Like a movie can be fantastic,
yes,
and not be
high level craft.
Right, exactly.
Like I've seen horror movies last year that have better craft across the board than Amelia Perez.
Like I said,
Alien Romulus had better craft than Amelia Perez.
Like I still have to see it, but like
it's getting ridiculous.
Right off the bat, I would say Smile 2 had better sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Sound design, yeah.
Fucking even Inside Out 2 had better sound design and mixing. Here's the thing that I'm baffled by. How did Lord of the Rings miss this? Because the sound design in that motherfucker for an animated film was amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not nominated for anything. Right? Like not best animated feature? Right, really?
The last 2 nominations for sound, Dune Part 2, which I think this is a 2-way race between Dune Part 2 and The Wild Robot. And then A Complete Unknown.
Yeah, like what? Am I going to love this movie?
We'll save it for the end. Best visual effects, Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. And every single one of these movies, great visual effects, except for Wicked, because like, yo, you can't tell me like some of that shit where you're just like, that's a little rubbery, and you can tell.
I'm not mad at it. Like my litmus for visual effects is if I can't tell what's CG, right? If I can't tell, um, then it's good visual effects, right? Um, and like I couldn't really honestly tell what was practical and what was digital.
I could. There's parts of
Uh,
it where I'm like, cinematography. I'm not mad at any of this. Well,
yeah, I mean,
no, take that
our,
back. I'm mad at one. So his best cinematography, Maria, Ed Latchman. Best thing about that movie besides Angelina Jolie's performance.
what is Maria about? I haven't seen it.
Opera singer Maria Callas. It's the new
Okay.
Pablo Larraín movie. Pablo Larraín was a dude I was like, oh man, this dude got next. He's an amazing filmmaker, and everything he's made since Jackie, I'm just like,
Yeah,
meh,
like
meh, meh.
when did this come out? Because like I've heard nothing about it.
It dropped on Netflix in like November.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. So sure, I'll check it out eventually.
Nosferatu. And honestly, just the fact that they created new lenses so they could make it look black and white, but
Yeah,
be in color.
like we like the show. We love Greg Fraser, right?
Yeah.
But like
Yo, I'm sorry,
that
Nosferatu. Like
that scene at the crossroads.
they shot this shit on film too. Like the movie is dark, and the fact that it looks this good, shot in complete darkness with lenses that are making the movie darker, and it was shot on film. Like, yeah, bro.
Like honestly, that scene at the crossroads, uh, is one of the best photographed, um, like set pieces scenes of all year, right?
Well,
Like
let me
Nosferatu gets it.
let me say this: anything lit by a torch or anything lit by candlelight, that was the light. That was the only
Right.
light they
Yeah.
used.
Yeah. 100%. Like I said, I love my boy Greg.
But yeah,
But Nosferatu, that's done.
the Brutalist, deserve just for the opening shot alone, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like that has my favorite. It's my favorite shot of the year, especially when the camera just goes to the upside down Statue of Liberty. You see Adrian Brody and his friend hug and laugh, and the camera just dun 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 to the Statue of Liberty. I'm like, God damn. I was like, God damn, yeah. And then again, somebody's got to explain this to me. Somebody, please explain it to me. Seriously, it's a good-looking movie, but damn, really?
I'm gonna watch Amelia Perez this weekend because like I've just been ignoring it. Not ignoring it, but it's like I'll get to it. But now that it's got so many nominations, I have to.
Best cinematography, yo, you guys, as the kid, I hate saying this word, but I'm gonna use it. You guys are like what the kids are like. The kids like to say. You guys are glazing.
What is that? Is that the new term for sucking dick?
Yep.
Okay, I know things. I know hips.
Please, somebody explain this shit to me. Like I'm generally, everybody hates this movie. I'm the only person who actually likes the movie. Somebody's got to explain this shit to me. I'm seriously like, I don't know. All right, at best actor in a leading role, Adrian Brody, which we'll get into at the end of this shit. Timothy Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. That's the biggest surprise to me was Sebastian Stan. I was just like, ooh, y'all wanted it to be known that we don't bangs with you, nigga.
Like Sebastian Stan was good, but he's good in everything he's in, but he's never great, right? Like The Apprentice, he did a good approximation of
Agent Orange.
Tangerine Tyrant, but sure, yeah, like look, give him.
I'm not mad at any of these.
Yeah.
Even though I think one nigga's gonna be disqualified, and I'm like, yo, listen. I'll get into it later. All right.
Yeah.
Actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. I think that's my pick. Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora. If Cynthia doesn't get it, yo, Mikey, give it to Mikey. Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. I still need to see I'm Still Here, and I haven't seen The Substance just because I trust you. I trust everybody who's seen it.
So, all right. So here's my prediction, right? Like, it's gonna be between. I want Demi to
For The
win.
Substance.
So Substance, I want her to win, but
just
I know
because
she's not.
She was like, she went on stage at the Golden Globes and was like, this is validation for my career because everybody called me a popcorn actress, which I'm just like, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
popcorn actress is The Rock, nigga.
She's done like the fucking G.I. Jane. She put in some work,
right?
So I want Demi to win, but she's not. So it's gonna be between Cynthia Erivo,
right,
and Carla.
You don't think Mikey has a chance?
Like, you got a woman of color versus a trans woman of color. This is like God, the first Godzilla, where that nigga's like, let them fight, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's Ken Watanabe.
Ken
Put
Watanabe.
Some respect on his name.
Yeah, I had a brain fart for a second. Like, it was fucking Ken what? No, Ken Watanabe's like, let them fight. That's sort of like what that feels like to me, because of white guilt, right? So, out of the two, I think Cynthia should win, but I know I'm going to call it right now. Carla Sofia Gascon is going to win. Just like.
You know what? You saying all that and breaking it down is exactly why I'm not watching this shit. Directing, Honora.
I'm going to see Honora this weekend.
I'm copping that. For Criterion announced they're putting it out in April on 4K, and I was just like, got it already, day one purchase. The cover for Honora, I was like, yo, y'all chose the most pornographic cover for this movie. Okay, Honora, The Brutalist. Thank God this happened. Claire Forget for The Substance. Because again, all the rest of these is just white guys. Amelia Perez, Jackie's Anard. I'm not mad at that just because he deserved it for a profit. And this is, to me, making it up for a profit.
Uh-huh.
And then... you go ahead. I don't want to even fucking say it. I'm disgusted.
James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. So I wish there was a rule that if your last movie was so bad, right, that it tanked a franchise, you shouldn't get nominated for an Oscar. All right? Like, you still owe
and cried about it in the media too.
Right.
Cried about it.
Like James Mangold owes a debt for Dial of Destiny, right? So that James Mangold, that should have been
Denis or Luca. When you see Challengers and you watch Challengers and you see what they're doing in Challengers, and then you find out there's no storyboards. They went there and just blocked it in 30 minutes, every shot of the movie. They just went to set and just like, all right, this is what we're gonna do today. The fact that after you find that out, it was shot on film. And I'm just like, how did they pull off some of this shit when it's shot on film? Fuck you, man. Like, seriously, fuck you.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that, like I said, Amelia Perez is probably for best directing just because white guilt.
Yo, also,
right?
we'll get into it after Best Picture, but I think Brady Corbett also shot himself in the foot because this nigga just, he don't know when to shut the fuck up. Brady Corbett is the white guy you went to film school with, where you're just like, hey man, you know what? I really like Predator, and he's just like, Predator, ugh.
I like he's what I call a Will Actually. right? Like he'll have a conversation with someone, and they're like, "Well, actually," it's like he's a well, actually.
He reminds me, and God bless them, because like they're my friends. But I also, this is why I don't like talking with movies with these two dumbasses anymore, because they're both 42 and still act like they're 10 years old when you talk to them. Where Mike and Joe Rangeli, where you tell them like, "Hey man, I don't really like this movie," and they'll be like, "You're fucking wrong," or "You're crazy," and it's just like, it's my opinion, nigga. Like I'm not wrong or crazy. It's just because I don't like the same shit you do. And then you never get to make your point because they're always trying to be like, well, and it's just like, yeah, nigga, like y'all. Again, listen, this is why I pick who comes on the show and who doesn't. Jeff, you had Deadpool and Wolverine on your best of 2024 list, right? Did I tell you were fucking wrong or you're crazy? You liked it, right?
I enjoyed it. Like
So then how am I gonna tell you you're fucking wrong if you liked it?
Yeah, like I'm not saying like it wasn't the best movie of the year, right? But I enjoyed it immensely. It made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told I was crazy and wrong because Multiverse of Madness sucked. And that Doctor Strange went through the same exact story arc that he did in the first movie.
Yeah, no, but Multiverse of Madness does suck though. Right? Like, and look, I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine did it better.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I don't like that motherfucker either. Because it's the problem with most Marvel movies is like, past Endgame, the ones that I enjoy, I'm like, damn, that was good, and then I go back and watch it, and I'm like, nah, this is some bullshit still. When you take out all the surprises and all the fan service, what are you left with?
Yeah, and like, look, I mean, I can try to convince you, but at the end of the day, you like what you like.
Yeah, Jeff, you could tell me you liked fucking Argyle, and I'd be like, all right, state your case. And even if I don't agree with you, I'm not gonna say, oh, you're crazy or you're wrong.
Look, one of my favorite movies of last year was a movie about a road trip movie about juggalos, right? Like, I mean, honestly, it's better than A Complete Unknown. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now: Off Ramp is better than A Complete Unknown.
All right, well, let's get into Best Picture. We got Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, which is the biggest surprise here. I'm Still Here. Nickel Boys, the next biggest surprise. Third biggest surprise, The Substance. And then finally, Wicked. So I got some gaps to fill. I still got to see I'm Still Here. I know you've been begging me. Everybody on the face of the earth, including Jeff, has been begging me to see The Substance. And I'm just going to say, I trust y'all. I trust y'all for that movie.
I know you don't like that type of movie. So like and I get it. I honestly I think it deserves to be on the list.
And I'm not going to denigrate it because everybody under the sun's telling me it's good. So I believe y'all.
Yeah.
So
like I'm not mad at this list. I still have to see Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, and Nickel Boys.
Oh man, I love Nickel Boys so much. You don't know how happy I was. It only got 2 nominations. Adapted screenplay and best picture. So its chances of winning either or like next to nothing. But like I'm just happy that it got recognized.
Yeah, I mean, like I would love to see The Substance win. It's not.
It's hard.
Not,
it's right? Hard and it's gross and it's gory.
Right. Like it's not gonna win. And right now, like in my heart of hearts, it's between Conclave, Anora, and like I said, because white guilt, Amelia Perez.
I would be happy. Like in a perfect world, Doom Part 2 would win. Right. But we don't live in a perfect world, obviously. So for my rankings, I would be number 1, Conclave, number 2, Anora, number 3, the Amelia Perez, number 4, The Brutalist. Those are my 4. in that order who I'd want to win.
Right. But like, I just knowing how things are going to work, right? I would not be surprised if Amelia Perez won this because no one. Hollywood likes to think that it's progressive, and it likes to fake the funk like it's progressive, right? So anything that's sort of like this, they'll be hard pressed to not pick because they don't want the smoke from saying like, why didn't Amelia Perez, trans woman, about minorities, they're worried about that instead of like worrying about what's a good movie or not.
So before we move on, a couple of things. I've talked to my brother because I gave my brother a screener of A Complete Unknown, and he watched it, and he's just like, bro, I don't get it. He's like, I really don't get it. And everybody I've talked to is just like, even Mike and Joe Rangeli, even Yi Tong, everybody I've talked to, they're just like, yeah, it's whatever.
Right.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's just like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. The love behind this movie. I seriously don't.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I've stated since the beginning of us doing this show that I don't fuck with musical biopics because at best they're okay. Like, the best musical biopic you've ever seen has always like it's been just okay.
Well, I still need to see La Bamba because I know the two that are on the high perch are La Bamba and Selena, and I need to watch both of those.
And they're both okay.
Okay. I'm seriously just flabbergasted by A Complete Unknown. I'm just looking at everybody like, yo, I feel like Killmonger, like, yo, this your king? This your king?
Yeah.
And finally, The Brutalist, besides Brady just rubbing me the wrong way at every fucking turn, me and a lot of people don't like his first two movies. Like, it feels like this is a fluke, first and foremost. Like, Jeff, watch Fox Lux.
Look, so the first, what was the first one?
Childhood of a Leader.
Okay, but like, what's the one that falls in line with Vox Lux, right? Because it was like
both of them, because they all have. Vox Lux is broken down into part 1, part 2. Childhood of a Leader has a overture, a part 1, a part 2, and an epilogue. Mind you, the movie's only an hour and 40 minutes.
For some reason, I thought Brady Corbett did another movie that I thought Vox Lux, or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Well, he was an actor too. He was an actor before, and everybody who doesn't really fuck with The Brutalist is literally saying like, oh, he starred in a few Michael Haneke movies, and now he's trying to curb from Haneke. And I was like, I see where you're getting that from. I don't really agree with it because Haneke, that's disrespectful to Michael Haneke, honestly. But
yeah,
like,
I don't see that, but okay, sure.
The AI thing. So we got to get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as the performances go, I'm not too upset about that. Just because they only used it to tweak Adrian Brody and
Felicity Jones.
Yeah, tweak their accents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's a slippery slope, but I'm not against it because I get where he wants it to be perfect. But I think that's part of movies that's part of the charm of movies is that no accent is perfect. And people from Hungary who've seen the movie, they're like, if you're not from Hungary, you're not going to notice the difference anyway. Like, people in Hungary were just like, you didn't need to do that. Like, accent's a bad accent.
That's the thing.
It's acting. Right? It's not real life. It's a movie.
And like, I have this conversation with like, Mike Sargent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like we talk on Instagram a lot about AI, right? And how it is a fucking slippery slope.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And like you said, like, part of the charm of a movie is the things that they can't get right. Right. fucking
It's called acting, nigga.
right. Like Scarface, right? Pacino doesn't. I've never heard a Cuban that sounded like that, right? Fucking Carlito's Way. That's not what a Puerto Rican sounds like
Okay,
from the Bronx,
I'm reloaded.
right? Like, but that's part of the fucking charm, right? It's the interpretation. But like, was it not Paul Haggis? Paul Schrader, right? He just
Oh, I
went
saw
out there.
that. I
You
saw
saw
that.
You
Yeah.
saw that. Like he put Chat GPT through his paces to write him a synopsis for a screenplay, and he said it's not that bad. Right? It's getting there. This is scary. This is scary shit.
So, I mean, people who love this movie are defending it to the point where they're like, well, welcome to the next 10 years of filmmaking, y'all. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, just shut the fuck up and just admit, like, you have a bias. But the thing that bothers me is the AI being used to create brutalist architecture. I'm like, no, because now you're taking people's jobs away. And Brady's argument for it is that they ran out of money and it was just cheaper to use AI and then have a architect actually sketch that out from what the AI did. And I'm like, that architect, you could have. And my brother said this: instead of using AI or paying somebody an exorbitant amount of money, you could have went to any architecture school in Europe and got somebody who is working in their master's degree in brutalist architecture. Because I know a few people on Instagram who design movie posters who specifically are working on their masters in brutalist architecture. You could have went to London. You could have went to any major city across Europe and the United Kingdom and got like a grad student and been like, hey, we can't pay you too much money, but we can give you credit in this movie.
Especially since, how long did it take this movie to get made? 3 years?
It was more than that.
Yeah. So you had the time to look for people, right? You weren't under the gun. So,
I mean, if you had money in the budget to press 70 millimeter prints and shoot on dead tech, let's be real, VistaVision is dead tech.
Right.
And hearing Brady talk about it, okay, why not then just shoot in 70 millimeter then? Because listening to him talk about it and explain VistaVision, I'm just like, that seems like it's more trouble than it's worth. Why not just shoot on 70 millimeter?
Because it's the hipster thing to do, right? That's like he wanted to say that he shot in VistaVision, which is,
and Jeff was there with me for the Q&A. He straight up said they had to use a fucking iPhone as a viewfinder. Which again, I'm just like, so then why not just rent some 70 millimeter cameras? Like people still shoot on 70 millimeters. 70 millimeters back.
And like the what was the budget for this? 10 million?
Yeah.
Right? As the producer in me is like, well, we could have shaved $1 million, like $500,000 of the budget and put it somewhere else by not shooting in VistaVision. And honestly, no one's going to tell the fucking difference. Just like no one's going to be able to tell the difference with those fucking accents.
Yes, because you know what? Here's the thing about VistaVision. It is more high fidelity than 35, but less high fidelity than 70 millimeter, but it's close enough to 70 millimeter. That's why they press 70 millimeter prints, because it's 70 millimeter without it being 70 millimeter. But it also just sounds cumbersome. Like when people shoot on IMAX, it's cumbersome, but it's worth it because there's nothing like IMAX film. It seems like to me, VistaVision, sure, the colors are much brighter than 70 millimeter, but
it's a dark film.
Yeah.
It's a dark film.
Yeah. And pictures are still this. Look, the image quality is still going to be the same. It's going to be a little bit higher resolution in 70 millimeter than it would be in VistaVision. It's just the colors won't be as pronounced. So it's just like at a certain point, I'm just like, you know, you guys gotta put your priorities straight and diverge your resources better.
Like, well, this is like that whole entire Effie Brown thing, right? And I always use this as an example of like sometimes you need to put your foot in a director's ass. You remember that Project Greenlight
Or Jason
redo?
Mann, who used to show up to screenings all the time, and he's just as weird as he is in real life.
Yeah. So Jason Mann, like if you watch Project Greenlight,
season 3,
he had a chance, right? He could get like the producer Effie Brown, a fantastic producer. She was like, okay, well, you can shoot this thing on film, right? But to get under, but like to stay on budget, you have to shoot this in 10 days, or we don't shoot in film, and we can give you 14 days, right? He just opted, like his vision. He opted for the shooting on film, and like she tried to find him all. She tried to explain it to him, like you might need these on the back end, whatever, like these days on the back end. He was like, no, it's got to be on fucking film.
Just to interject real quick, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, the movie sucks,
but you also can't tell that it's shot on film.
Not at all.
So you might have, like the Brutalist, you can tell that's shot on film.
Right.
So I'm just like, at a certain point, I was just like, yeah, that was a waste of resources.
Right. So like, long story short, he needed those 4 days to finish his fucking film, right? But he opted for film. So with the Brutalist, right, you have VistaVision and you have 70 millimeter, right? One of them is going to cost you time and money. You go with the one that's not going to cost you time and money.
And he even said like it was like only like it was less than a quarter of the budget. He like it wasn't even that expensive, and I'm like, okay, it wasn't that expensive.
But look at the time you had to invest in your setups. You had to use an iPhone as your viewfinder,
and then you ran out of money, so you had to turn to AI, and then hid that. And then I would have, from the jump, I would have been open about it. That's just me. I'd have been like, hey, look, full disclosure, like, you know, not to take away from the amazing work my actors did, but we had to use AI to tweak some things. And, you know, we ran out of money, so we had to use AI to make these buildings. You know what I mean? These sketches. I would have been upfront about it because, and I think the reason why this is blown up in people's faces because Brady and everybody has been presenting this as saving cinema, like hearkening back to the old days of cinema, and like, oh my God, we never get movies like this anymore, and like this is important. It's important with a capital I.
We used almost extinct film format. We brought it back. This is craft. It's like, well, is it craft, nigga? Like.
Yeah,
like, not to take away the work that you did do, but then you cheated.
That's what I'm saying, man. Real quick before we also move on, friend of the show, past and future guest, Clayton Davis, did some work before these nominations came out. He interviewed a lot of people in the Academy, and apparently a lot of people in the Academy straight up told him, I didn't finish The Brutalist, or I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to invest the time in watching The Brutalist. And so for the people who did watch it and then stop, they're like, why did you stop? They're just like, bro, the content is just extreme. And I get it. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. 5 minutes into the movie, Adrian Brody's getting a hand job, and it's just like, it shit like that adds nothing to the story, man.
It's character work. I get it. Like, yes, it adds nothing to the story, but this is a character piece.
What does it add to Laszlo's character, bro?
I mean, it just shows that he likes hand jobs. I don't know, nigga. Like, it's just flourish. But yeah, like if you're talking about runtime, yeah, like you could shave this down to a nice solid fucking 245 by getting rid of some of this shit.
Like the lurid stuff really put some people off, and to me, I was just like, I would have rather seen the corruption of Laszlo done a different way other than heroin. That's just me.
I mean, and like, here's the thing: heroin is shorthand, right?
It's kind of lazy, right?
It's like it's cheap. It's cheap. It's like, oh shit, we have to show, his downfall. Give him a drug addiction. It's like, yeah, okay, like, but can it be anything but heroin?
Like you could have made him an alcoholic. You could have made him addicted to pills.
Yo, what if like he fucking huffs paint?
Yeah,
right. Like
yeah,
something like give him like that's the basic bitch drug addiction is heroin. Like everybody gets addicted to heroin. You're not special. You got addicted to heroin. Ugh.
So yeah, I think the Brutalist's chances were pretty good. They weren't as great as everybody made them out to be, but now it went from pretty good to now, I think this AI shit really did hurt them.
Right. I mean, because they hid the fact. If they had put it on the forefront and said, this is what everyone is afraid of, there's nothing to be afraid of. We've been talking about how AI is going to take our jobs and shit like that. This is what can be done with AI in conjunction with real filmmaking. If they had gone out the gate with that,
I'd still be like, you know what I mean?
You'd still be like that, but it would have swept.
It would have been. I think people would have been much more receptive of it. Right. But it's also now regular people are seeing it and just like, yo, y'all are gassed up over this shit. And like, I get it, because like the first half of the movie, it does play out like a novel that you've never read before, and that's amazing. But like all the subtext and metaphors just become text and just take a sledgehammer to your head. Like, you get it, you get it, you get it.
Message. So here's the thing: I thought fucking Laszlo Toth was a real motherfucker. Right? Like, I didn't realize.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I was in the same boat. I was like, oh, this dude must be real. And then,
right, like I was about to fucking go on there, like go on Wikipedia. It's like Doylestown brutalist architecture, right? I never knew Doylestown had culture, and then I was looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, no, that he doesn't exist.
There is a person, they got the name though from a sculptor named Laszlo Toth. Like I Googled Laszlo Toth and it does come up like, oh yeah, inspired by this guy. There was a dude named Laszlo Toth though.
Okay. Yeah,
but like, he was just a dude. He was just a dude who made sculptures and then he died. None of them were particularly memorable.
But
yeah, so I'm with everybody else though, and that wild to me that Challenger's just thrown in the trash.
Like not like nothing, no nod anywhere, like something. Give it something.
Yeah. This is a weak ejaculate of nominations. And like there's a lot of good movies nominated, but I'm just gonna come out and say this looks like to be one of the weakest years for the Oscars. So like I'm good.
Yeah, like I mean, look, if we can do something special for the Oscars, I think we owe it to the fan, like our listeners.
You don't know shit. We don't owe nobody shit, bro.
I'm just saying, like I just want to get dressed up and get drunk and clown on motherfuckers. So.
Nigga, I do that shit every year in real life. Whatever.
We're the Film Blurs. I'm Brandon Nord, and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, aka He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.